All right, moving along now. Ford South Africa, as we've been saying, customers who bought faulty Kuga models are feeling vindicated tonight. The car giant has been fined 35 million rand for its defective Kuga Eco Sport model. The National Consumer Commission found Ford guilty of contravening the Consumer Protection Act by selling unsafe cars. Now, one of the first South African victims was Reshall Jimmy, who was trapped and burnt to death in his Kuga while driving to the Southern Cape almost exactly 4 years ago. His sister Renisha has fought tirelessly for justice for her brother since 2015, taking on the international company, and she joins me now in studio. Thank you very much indeed for your time, Renisha. I mean, with the revelations now, with Ford being fined 35 million rand, do you feel vindicated tonight?
I do. I feel I'm very confident that the fight that we put forward, there's some victory towards, a bittersweet victory, and I'm happy that we're coming to a closure. It's been a lengthy, long battle, and I feel many victims have been waiting for something to come out of this and for some form of justice, so they're very happy. And it might have it's not the outcome that they wanted, but it's some form of justice. So it's been a very, very long journey. Is
this justice for you as a family? I know that you are not part of this settlement
yes.
that Ford is putting through to those customers who bought those vehicles. Just walk us through where your process is at the moment. I know that there was an inquest that was conducted into your brother's death. Talk us through that.
So we were in the High Court for the greater part of this year. Judge Robert Henny was overlooking an inquest into his death. It was a very long process for months that has been going on. It reached a point where it was confirmed that Reshall didn't commit suicide. He was not murdered. All the false rumors that were made about him were completely cleared, and Ford confirmed that Reshall didn't commit suicide. He wasn't murdered, and this was done to the High Court. My fight was based on clearing my brother's name and getting rid of all the false rumors. So when I got Advocate Harry Nell involved, that was his mandate. So when we fulfilled that and his name was cleared, he stepped down. However, Judge Henny still has to make his finding. Proceedings did follow, and it finished off, I think, about a month back. So we were just waiting now to hear his finding. Yeah, so that's where we are.
It's been a lengthy battle for you as a family to
yes.
get someone to take responsibility for what had happened. Given that Ford has been fined now, I mean, what was it like for you as a family during that time, where it seemed as if blame was being shifted and there were other excuses that were being made, or so-called causes of your brother's death that were coming to the fore? How did you feel as a family?
Look, it was horrible. It was a very difficult journey that we've gone through. Knowing the man Reshall was and what he stood for and what he lived by, and him being robbed of his life, it was a very difficult journey for us. And the main factor for my family, or for myself, my plight for the fight that I've gone through, was to clear his name of all the false rumors and the allegations made against him, and I managed to do that. So it's left me at peace, and I'm in a very good place where I feel that he has the reputation that we knew him for, and it's not tarnished by the false rumors that were made.
Renisha, just some clarity. So, pending then the outcome of this particular court case, that still doesn't render you a beneficiary of what Ford is putting through?
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't, because the fact that they've taken responsibility, and
that's enough for you.
It's enough for me. You know, my fight was to clear my brother's name. That's what I fought for, and I really hoped that other victims got some form of justice, and they've got something, you know, so I'm happy, and I really fought very hard, and I think it's about time that we get some form of closure and we move forward. So.
When I spoke to you a little bit earlier on, even though you would not be a beneficiary in this particular instance, you did, however, say that I think what could even suffice as a better resolution would be perhaps the money that was fined, the 35 million rand, even be split amongst some of the victims or those who were caught up in this debacle.
Look, so various victims have been calling me today, and they're happy that there's some resolution. However, I think there's a bitter taste left for them that the NCC gets 35 million and they get 50,000 each. So I think the thought frame for them is that instead of that money going to the NCC, it should be divided amongst the victims, the people that have had fires, because they believe that they've had greater loss than 50,000. So I would think that rather than going to the NCC, it should go to consumers rather.
It doesn't matter what happens, it's not going to bring your brother back.
Never. It's going to be 4 years for him next week on the 4th of December. The pain doesn't go away. It's very difficult. My mum, everyone struggles, and it just feels very fresh, and we miss him very much.
Yeah. What would be ultimate justice for you at the end of the day? A fine or a slap on the wrist for Ford? Some may consider as enough, but...
Look, I think for me, just the fact that his name has been cleared, and I fought very hard for that, and I'm happy that Ford's, we in agreement that he didn't commit suicide, he wasn't murdered, and his reputation remains the way he left us and for who we knew him. That's very important to me, and that's the justice I wanted, and I've got that. So the world knows that none of those rumors were true, and Reshall was a very good man, and he didn't deserve his reputation to be tarnished, and it's something I fought very hard for. So I'm just very happy that his name is cleared, and I feel within myself I've got justice for him.
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming through this evening. It's a great pleasure having you here on SABC News. Renisha Jimmy, the sister of Reshall, who was found in his Ford Kuga 4 years ago.